Hello everyone, my name is King Leung, Head of Fintech at Invest Hong Kong. I think for those of you who have been following what's happening in the GBA, you might have noticed there's a big news from the Citibank in which they're planning to hire 1,700 people for the emerging GBA opportunity for the bank. And this is an enormous commitment to the region. And you may wonder, the GBA, it sounds like something that has been around for some time. So why would all these banks and all these fintech companies all of a sudden pay so much attention to this area? Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the size of the enormous opportunity in the GBA, actually, the GBA accounts for 11 trillion renminbi of GDP. And this is phenomenal. As a matter of fact, this GDP accounts for 13% of the entire mainland China GDP. So this is a very sizable economic region. Now, actually, the reason why the fintech has been gaining so much attention, not only locally, but also internationally, is because at the end of the day, when we look at fintech, it really comprises of two parts. When we look at the GBA, Hong Kong has always been seen as an international financial center, that we are very strong on the finance side. Now, at the same time, Shenzhen has been really strong on the tech side as well. So that's why by putting the two together, will make us an enormous powerhouse in the fintech space. Now, and for those of you who may not be following what's happening across the border in Shenzhen, there's one really amazing fact I want to share with you. And that is one of the digital banks, WeBank, in which one of the major shareholders is Tencent. Now, the company basically just grew from nowhere from the year 2015. So in immediately, 5-6 years? So now, because of all this attention to technology, at the moment, they are the most innovative bank in the world, measured by the number of patents filed among all the banks around the world. And this is a phenomenal achievement. And also this speaks volume about the technological innovation in the fintech sector in the GBA. Now, when you look at a lot of the media coverage, you might have come across this term called Wealth Connect. Now, what does that mean? Now, at the end of the day, as we all know, in mainland China, there have been some restrictions for the mainland Chinese to get access to international investment vehicles, like funds, like ETFs, and so on. Now, at the same time, for international investors, they also had a hard time to have direct access to the assets and investment vehicles in mainland China. So again, with Hong Kong being an IFC, International Financial Center, we are basically primed to act as a bridge. And with also the financial reform, where the GBA literally becomes the sandbox for trying out, so how do we basically make these exchanges happening more easily? So the regulators basically involved, including our very own Hong Kong Monetary Authority and the regulators in mainland China, have been working very hard to try to figure out what's the kind of regulatory environment that can also protect the investors and consumers, at the same time allow this kind of innovation. And as a result, in a recent interview, actually it's in a recent press release by the HKMA, basically the Chief Executive of HKMA have made the announcement that there are a number of areas in which we should be expecting some kind of developments within this year. And they are, namely, number one, of course, I think remote account opening. So there should be some sort of framework that would make it a bit easier remotely, as opposed to having to physically travel to a branch in that particular city to open accounts. Some, I would say, groundwork has to be laid out. And one of them is the cross-border sandbox. Now, the cross-border sandbox is, at the end of the day, an environment in which financial institutions can try out these new ways of doing things, in which they can help the consumers to get access to financial vehicles, at the same time happening in a very safe environment. So this is a very important foundation. Now, another example is that there was also the renminbi cash pool in which essentially we would also like to see this, I would say, the first step about the money pool where the mainland Chinese investors can get access to the Hong Kong domicile kind of funds and also international funds sold in Hong Kong. But there should be like a limit about how those investments can be made. So that is also another mechanism that the regulators are working very hard to make sure that we can strike the balance. So now, after you have heard about all the exciting opportunities I just mentioned, you might wonder yourself, wow, this is fantastic. How can I basically get a piece of the action to take part in this whole fintech evolution? Now, I can share with you like 3 simple steps. Okay, step number 1. Now, of course, if you're already someone working in the financial services sector, I would think that you might be able to spot out some unmet needs. So this is always a good starting point. But in case you are not working in the field for a long time, but that's okay. There are lots of people working in the field in which they understand the pain points faced by the unmet needs of customers or SMEs and so forth. So when you start with the opportunity, then the second step you can pursue is to talk to someone like ourselves, Invest Hong Kong, in which I can connect you with the right parties in Hong Kong, from the Sapa Port to Science Park, in which they have some incubation program, so that you can start off with an idea in a simple business plan. And if they feel that that business plan can materialize into something substantive, then there will be some subsidies they can give you in order to build like a prototype. And once you have the prototype, there's another round of funding or subsidies that can take you further. Step number 3 is obviously whatever you do, you need customers. Now, in Hong Kong, because of the international financial center status, we have just a lot of financial institutions for you to sell to. Now, obviously, for you to try to open the door with some large FIs is not easy. So this is also where Invest Hong Kong can help. So if you have some viable solutions that can help the financial institutions, come talk to us. And chances are we might be able to connect you with the right party at the individual bank or an insurance company, in which we can basically help match the needs on the demand side and also the supply side from your solution. So 3 simple steps can basically help you to jumpstart from an idea to a material big financial success. Now, of course, I think after hearing all that, now if you happen to be in the fintech space, congratulations. We have a fabulous program just for you. Now, essentially, we've been seeing all these needs in the market. We would like to use a program to help the aspiring entrepreneurs to succeed. And that is the Global FintechHK Fast Track program. Essentially, what it is that it's a program that we are helping the fintech companies by pairing them up with the investors and the potential corporate clients in a more direct way. And that basically can fast track you by, say, 10, 12, 18 months of time doing business development. And by joining our program, you're able to basically fast track the way to access these potential investors and corporate clients. And if in case you're interested, so come visit us at our FintechHK LinkedIn page or the Hong Kong FinTech website. So welcome, and hopefully we will see you in this program very soon. In case you want to really follow the latest development in this space, just join our channel, and there'll be more exciting contents that will be coming your way in the future.